He's not responding.
Eleven attachments.
Hello.
And I think you have to call him by name when you say hello.
Thanks, Joe. And if you don't know their name, hello. We
All
got
right.
Mark.
Yep, Mark just joined us.
Okay, so let's have a motion to open here. I motion that we open the joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Board of Health on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022 at 6:30 PM.
Seconded.
Okay. Do we have
We
to,
actually don't even need to vote on that. It's just an announcement that we're opening.
okay. All right, Joy, any opening comments?
There are some opening comments. Would you like me to do the opening comments, Mr. Chairman?
If you would, please.
All right. Let's see, the 2022 resident parking stickers are still available for purchase at nahant.org. Stickers are $10 each. All bills due to the town must be paid in a census form completed. Nahant farmers markets are on the following Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. August 20th and September 17th at Flash Road next to the fire station. We're looking for craft and food vendors, community groups, local businesses, and more to join our markets. Email ktaylor@nahant.org or visit our farmers market page at nahant.org to become a vendor or for more information. The planning board is looking for 2 alternate members to join the board. Send resume and letters of interest to ktaylor@nahant.org, accepting submissions until August 12th, 2022. That is all for the opening comments.
Do we have Board of Health members here, or are we representing ourselves tonight, Tony?
You are representing the Board of Health.
Okay, can I toss that over to you to go through the sunscreen and drought steps?
Yep, absolutely. All right, thank you. So first, I want to thank Deb Murphy really for taking the lead on Impact Melanoma effort here. So the town of Nahant has partnered with 7 other North Shore cities and public health officials to provide free sunscreen and free sunscreen dispensers around the community. So you'll be seeing those around the beaches. They are installed in the bathrooms, at the public bathrooms as well. We're still working on getting them out, but I know they're at Tudor Beach. I know they're at Flash Road Park, 40 Steps. It's a great project. And especially with the, the recent heat that we've had, it's really important that we promote that healthy way of enjoying the sun. So I want to thank Deb Murphy and the other communities of Salem, Lynn, Swampscott, Marblehead, Danvers, Peabody, and Beverly, and the North Shore Practice State Skin Collaboration for partnering with us to get this off the ground.
Tony, how are those staged? How are they positioned, put up? Are they dispensers?
They're dispensers. They look just like a soap dispenser that you put your hand underneath and the sunscreen comes out. They're really more designed to be attached to a wall inside. But out by Tudor Beach and 40 Steps, we don't have a indoor space to put them at. So we're testing them out, at the entrances of the beach and see how they hold up outdoors. But they're out there. You'll see them.
Okay. Now? They're already up?
Yep, they're already out.
Great.
I'll go to the drought.
Please.
So state of Massachusetts, most of the state of Massachusetts is in a level 2 significant drought phase. Can you see this Massachusetts drought alert?
Yep, we can see it.
So as you can see, most of the state is in a level 2. Western part of the state is in a level 1, and Cape Cod is actually doing pretty good. Right now, being in a level 2 does not require any sort of restrictions or bans of water use, but we're getting close to critical drought, and obviously the next step, as you can see by this flyer here, is level 4 emergency drought, where the state may put in or require municipalities to enforce some water use bans. Some communities have already done that. I know in Peabody they've put that in place. So we're at a level 2 significant drought. We're going to put this information on our website and share it through social media as well. But there are recommendations that come. There's not requirements, but there are recommendations, and you can see them here in this in level 2 significant drought areas. Minimize water use, limit outdoor watering to handheld from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. Conserve water indoors, fix leaks, be careful with outdoor flames, things like that.
What about the implement drought or seasonal water rates? How would you do that? How would that come about?
Say that again? Sorry, I
It's
missed it.
not a requirement, but a suggestion is to implement drought or seasonal water rates.
Oh, here, this one here.
Yeah. Yes.
I've never actually gone through that type of process before. I imagine it's essentially increasing your water rates to, really push the issue and get people to reduce usage. But I haven't looked into that very deeply, and I've never done it in my, since 2018.
Seems like it might be more applicable or easier to apply for towns that have their own water supply as opposed to MWRA communities like Naha. Just my hunch, but
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay,
Tony, I know that in the past year or so, you've been pretty aggressive in our leak detection program. Were we doing anything this year on more leak detections?
Yes, so MWRA will send their leak detection team out to town. I think we typically do that in the spring and in the fall. So I'm sure Zach has them scheduled for sometime in August.
Great.
any more on the Board of Health? Tony?
Nope, that's it.
And Mark, if you wouldn't mind, would you take the motions?
Sure. Well, we don't have any motions in front of us right yet.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, the Friends of Lodge Park.
Yeah, okay.
Tony, if I could, this is the Friends of Lodge Park is a group of women and men. It's a de facto group. It's not an appointed group. It's not an elected appointment. And it began probably somewhere back a year ago. And it's to take and, I don't know, did you guys get the packet which outlines the park management and restoration plan?
Pulling it
Yes.
up now.
Yes, I got it.
We just got this today, and I've got Vi and Tricia on the line, and they'll go through this quickly as they promised that they would. But I just want to give credit where credit's due, and that is to the group that's pulled all this together. I was involved in it for probably 3 or 4 meetings. I couldn't keep up with it. I bailed out on them. They kept it going, and they've been working feverishly on this now for probably, and Vi, correct me, and Trish, somewhere in the order of a year plus.
It's a year.
Pardon?
1 year.
1 year, yes. And we've got on there Elizabeth Berman, Tess Bauda, Linda Pivacek, Diane Monteith, Christian Bada, Ellen Antrim, Trish Aldrich, and Nancy Cantelmo. And they've all been, as I said, working very hard to pull this all together. And I'm going to let them give you a brief overview of where they are right now.
Vi, is this what you want? Do you want me to share this?
No, if you could take that off, because that's not my text. I have a short text separately.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay. So thank you for the introduction, Jean. And Jean, thank you for inviting us to present to the Board of Selectmen. And thank you very much for including us on the agenda. I know you're so busy, and we will be very brief. So I typed this up to keep myself brief. So the question is, who are the Friends of Lodge Park? And Trish Aldrich and I are here tonight to give a short introduction to the activities of the Friends of Lodge Park. This group of volunteers, which includes Jean Canty, came together a year ago with the goal of creating a management plan for Lodge Park, which would provide guidance to the town in caring for Lodge Park in an organized manner, both now and for the foreseeable future. So how do the Friends of Lodge Park function? We are a group of volunteers with a mission. We could be compared to the new Tree Task Force, which is a group of volunteers which provides help to Zach Taylor in the management of our town's trees. This Tree Task Force has accomplished a lot through teamwork with Zach and Tony. As you all know, volunteers are the lifeblood of our small town, and you are all, mostly all of you, the lifeblood of our town. So how did this draft management plan come into being? Teamwork. We did a site walk with Tony and Zach. We collaborated with SWIM and the Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee. Trish is a member, as is Nancy Cantelmo, who is also a member of Friends of Lodge Park. And Jean, who generously gave his time to attend our meetings. I think we had 12 meetings. We had a lot of meetings. To create the plan, we did a search for a contractor who could write a plan and also execute it. And we had to find money to pay for the plan. The town and SWIM, I'm very proud of this, teamed up and submitted a joint request for money from the Community Preservation Committee. And this money was granted at the 2022 town meeting. SWIM pledged $3,000 to be matched by the CPC. And since the new open space plan received conditional approval in May, there will now be opportunities for grant money for Lodge Park. Tonight, we are proud to offer you copies of the 66-page draft management plan. I had thought that this was a hybrid meeting, and I had printed up paper copies at Staples for you all. I'll drop them off tomorrow if you like paper and you can write on them. But I've also sent the online document, and it's really beautiful. I encourage you to read it. Another question: is there another plan in Nahant which is an example of this sort of teamwork? The remarkable Nahant Municipal Vulnerability Plan was created by town officials, volunteers, and residents. I participated in the public forums which generated data for the plan, and I was very impressed by the collaboration which took place. The MVP provides guidance for current and future management of our land and seashore with the goal of protecting our residents and our land. And I think the tree task force and the municipal vulnerability plan are good examples of how the Friends of Lodge Park have been working and hope to continue working in collaboration with everybody who cares about Lodge Park. So what comes next? Trish is next with a brief overview of the draft management plan and an invitation to join an upcoming site walk with the contractor who wrote the plan. We look forward to input from you and Tony and Zach to finalize the plan and its implementation. Thanks so much. And I'll pass it along to Trish.
Okay, here I go. I know you have a tight agenda here, so I'm going to move right along. So this management plan was prepared by Bill Geisentanner, who works with Mass Audubon. He's worked with them for 30 years. So he has 30 years of experience in open space planning, natural resource management, trail planning, community master planning, and that kind of thing. He knows what he's doing and he loves what he does, as Jean can probably attest from going on one site walk with him. So it is a 66-page, at this point, draft management plan ready for your review, input, and comment. It provides detailed site-specific recommendations for managing Lodge Park. And the plan is consistent with our 2008 open space plan and the new 2022 open space and recreation plan. As you know, at its inception, Lodge Park was established as a site for open space, conservation, habitat for wildlife, passive recreation, and as a memorial to Senator Lodge. So this management plan honors and advances all of those things. So stewardship of the wildlife habitat is one big part of it. Once you see it, Tony, if you wanted, you could go back to that other thing you had shared your screen. These are some of my comments, just if you want to see them and have them in writing. So it's stewardship of the wildlife habitat, grassland management, restoring more native species, how to mow things, when to mow them. There's a proposed schedule of maintenance activities and prioritizing activities by who would do it. Is it the DPW? Is it volunteers? Would it be hired certified contractors, possibly to apply pesticides where you need a license, that kind of thing? So the stewardship of wildlife habitat is one big component. Another is what we call enhancing the visitor experience. Everybody loves Lodge Park. Lots of us go up there all the time. It has been a tremendous resource and sanity keeper, I think, for an awful lot of people during the pandemic. but the visitor experience, what your experience is when you go there, could be improved. There could be some better signage. It could be clearer which way to go. Like when you arrive there at the parking area at Canoe Beach, where do you go? How do you get up to the top? How do you actually get to Lodge Park? Where the management plan proposes putting in some new signs, such as there's a interpretive sign at the, Coast Guard life-saving station that gives a little bit of the history. Possibly we could have a few signs like that. People could know more about what they're looking out and seeing. Safety is also a big part, of course, of the visitor experience. Steps have already been taken to make it safe, but there's some other things that we could do to make it even safer, such as planting some what's called green fencing. So all those nasty, thorny things like Rosa rugosa or some other things that can prevent people just naturally from like taking a step backward when they're taking a photo and, something bad happened, or just, and so on. Anyway, so the plan includes a recommended schedule of the annual maintenance activities, costs associated with implementing the plan, both one-time costs and ongoing, how to prioritize things. And there is an impressive appendix on how to manage invasive plants. It's 9 pages of detailed information on various plants, what you can do to manage them, and again, who would do it, volunteers, DPW staff, or a licensed contractor. So again, this is a draft plan. The next step is for your input and comments and thoughts. And to sort of accomplish that, we would like to invite you on a site walk with the consultant to see what we're talking about and review the proposed plan and get your input.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Trish, and thanks, Vi, very much for your review. It's interesting. I think once Tony and Zach have an opportunity to look it over, review it, and edit it, it would be great to get this out, at least into the library, et cetera, because it just has so much in it. In fact, it's got a full history of the park in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's little forgotten. I think you touched base on everything. You talked about land management, plant inventory, bird populations, species, et cetera, and safety, most importantly. But Tony, I know, and Zach will take and run through this, and hopefully we can keep this going.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for all of that work, and of course, we'll want to make sure we incorporate this into some part of the town plan, probably the open space master plan from 2022, or some way to sort of formalize it once it's been reviewed and edited, because we don't want it to fall by the wayside, obviously, as committees change and so on. And I'm expecting and hoping that there might be some good information that will help us planning for other locations like Bailey's Hill. So
That'd be really good. Be able to, we could leverage this, not leverage it, but recycle it, reuse it for future other locations.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, Trish, thanks for putting in all the volunteers who worked alongside of you putting this together. I look forward to reviewing it. Is there any way to get an editable version of this document so we can edit it and send it back to you?
Well, yeah, definitely. Tomorrow I'm dropping off paper copies so you can get your red pen on it. I personally like when I'm sitting down to a 66-page document to have a red pen. Just feels good. But I'll work on that with Kristen, see if we can get you a copy that you can do your editing. Great idea.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank you guys. Really good presentation. I can't wait to see it. It sounds like the gentleman you're working with is a wealth of knowledge, and as Josh mentioned, I'm sure some of his recommendations are practices that we can learn and apply in other areas of Nahant. And yeah, I'm looking forward to looking at it, taking a look at it, and doing a site visit with him to understand where he's coming up with some of the stuff that's in that plan. Obviously, the town is supportive of having maintenance plans for these areas. It allows us to, it helps us prevent losing open space. For so many years, our open spaces have shrunk because of that invasive species growth that has almost taken over. So, Zach and Vi, I know you and Zach have had a great relationship, especially with, bringing back proper maintenance of the Lodge Park area. And so I'm sure he's, I'm sure he's going to pick up whatever the report says in there. I'm sure he'll be happy to, put it into action. It'll just come down to, really resources, what we can, like you mentioned, is it going to be done by us? Is it going to be done by someone else? And, how do we fit it in with the other open space responsibilities that we already have? So looking forward to getting into it with you guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, are we all set?
Yes, we can go to new business.
Pardon?
Yes, we can move to new business.
Oh, well, okay. I just want to again say thanks to Vi and Trish and that entire group for the work that they've done. And now we'll move on to new business.
And Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Selectmen execute the warrant for the preliminary election to take place on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Nahant Town Hall, 334 Nahant Road, Nahant, Mass.
Seconded.
Discussion?
Diane?
Nope.
Rose?
No discussion. I'm here to answer questions. Election, this is a primary election, takes place, like you said, on September 6th. The warrant has to be approved now with the new state laws. And we need to have approved and then signed off on and submitted, posted on the 4 different sites: the library, the police station, and the town hall and the fire station. So it's the warrant of all the people who are running and who will be up for election during the primaries.
Diane, perhaps you could speak a little bit about the mail-in ballots. I received something in the mail the other day about
Sure.
registering for mail-in ballots, and I think it's the first time I ever received one. So some people might be a little confused, and maybe you could help us along.
Absolutely. So the state voted in a new Votes Act of 2022. They will be mailing out those postcards to every registered voter in the state. They've actually simplified it from the 2020 election. It's a card and it asks you basically if you want to absentee vote. And it's actually a mail-in vote for early voting. There's several ways to do this. One, an absentee ballot is if you're in the military, overseas, or you're going to be out of town during the election. The mail-in postcards that you got are for if you just decide you want to early vote, which means you can either early vote via absentee. What happens is you fill out that postcard, you send it in, and then we here at the clerk's office send out ballots to anyone that sends in a postcard. You then can submit your ballot just by leaving it in the drop box out front or bringing it into our office. You can request an absentee ballot or a mail-in ballot up to 5 days before the September 6th election, because it's a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. You can request one up until August 29th. And then we have to mail it out to you. We're sort of nervous about the mail-in because it's a long weekend, but the other option is to, instead of mailing in, we also are required by the state to be open 1 week before for a certain amount of hours for early voting. So instead of filling out an absentee ballot and either putting it in the ballot box, mailing it in, or dropping it off, you can also just come in and vote from anytime from August 27th through September 2nd, which is the Friday before Labor Day weekend. That's on the items and motions next, I believe, are either the next one or the third one. 9, 10, and 11 all pertain to the voting. If you decide to early vote, we will have the hours that we will be open for early voting posted on the website, posted on the board outside. And I'm sure we can have Tony put it on the website, the Nahant website, town hall website. It's like I said, it's 1 week before the primaries. And then it's actually 2 weeks before the state election, which takes place in November, that we need to be open 2 Saturdays for a total 4 hours on the Saturday. And 2 weeks before, and then 1 week before sorry, it gets confusing which election we're talking about, but for the primaries in September, we'll be open for 1 week, Saturday starting August 27th, going through till September 2nd for early voting. Basically, it's 9 to 1 every day and 9 to 4 on Thursday before Labor Day weekend.
Could you repeat that?
Not in the same order.
Show up on September 6th.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. Yeah, but yeah, whatever, they're trying to make it, we're trying to make it easy for everyone to be able to vote. It is a little confusing, the difference between absentee voting and early voting, but the postcards that you get, and actually I've already received some back into my office today and yesterday, are fairly self-explanatory. It's kind of nice. It's pretty basic. You check off whether you want all elections this year, or just the primary, or just the state election. And then if you do the primaries, you do have to check off if you're unenrolled or an unenrolled, or what we used to call independent voter, you have to check off which ballot you want for the primaries. And then you just mail it in and we mail you a ballot.
And the return ballot, is that postage paid or not?
It is. It is. I haven't received all of that yet. They come and what you'll get is we send out an envelope, a return postage paid return envelope, as well as the ballot, and then the enclosed, there's a envelope, it's called an AV7, where you put your ballot into that. You have to sign it or we can't count your vote. So you sign that, then you put it into the postage paid, mail it back to us. We put it in a secured location and we put them into the ballot box on election day.
Great, thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Diane.
You're welcome.
Roll call vote.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Gene Canty, aye.
Let's
Before you
see.
move on to the next one, I just wanted to say, Diane and her team really should be commended for this added amount of, this added requirement being put on the clerk's office. I mean, it's a ton of hours on the weekends that are required to be open. And in Naha, we probably won't get a ton of use out of it, but we're required to offer it. So, I just take the time, Diane, it's noticed all the extra work that's being put on you by these new requirements, and we thank you.
You're welcome. And I have to put a shout out to Carol Nelson. She's my right arm and she's the warden for elections and she's here whenever she's needed and she's amazing.
Good.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve a Naha police officer detail for the primary election on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022, from 6:45 a.m. until final votes have been counted and tallied at the Nahant Town Hall, 334 Nahant Road, Nahant, Mass.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
I just want to let you know that this is a new, another new mandate by the state. It's not a big deal. We always had police officers. It's a requirement, but now it is a requirement from the state that it is approved by the Board of Selectmen. We used to just have I would just call the police and they would sign somebody in, but now it's a law that the Board of Selectmen has to approve the number and the police officers that are at any election.
Right.
Just out
Great.
of curiosity, is that because of the potential number of people coming, or is it like
Well,
security for voting purposes? I'm just curious.
why to have a police? Well, you have to have a police officer because it has to be a secure ballot box. Somebody has to be, anytime if, we're a small community, so there are times in other communities that maybe the ballot box gets full and they have to, empty it. And so the police has to be there for that. They have to sign off on it. Everything has to be in writing, keeping a record of all of the number of ballots that go in. And if somebody has to leave the ballot box, it's a mandate for many reasons, security, safety, it's just a mandate. But now it used to be able to too, that you could have a constable, and you still can have the constable at the box within the election. It has to be within sight of the election boxes, but we've always had police officers, so we just sort of stuck with that.
Good preference.
Yeah, the constable's responsible for posting all the warrants, so that's just the way we've always done it. So we decided to stick with that. If that's okay with you, the Board of Selectmen.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Josh Hanford, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Okay. Water and sewer and trash rates. Let's see, I move that the
There was
Board of-
one.
Is
Can
the
I?
early voting one, Mark?
There was
Okay,
one.
yeah,
one
I've got it.
more. Yep,
I've got it.
thank you.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the early voting hours for the preliminary election on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022, and for the general election on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, as presented by the town clerk and as posted on the town clerk page at nahant.org.
Seconded.
Discussion.
Just as a side note, we kind of covered it a little bit, but there is a chart that tells you exactly when we're going to be open. We're mandated to be open at least 25% of our hours. We're doing 50% of our hours open for early voting on most days, and sometimes 100% of the hours. Like I said, it's hard I could go through the whole chart, but Tony, you don't happen to have that, do you, by any chance?
I don't have it with me.
Okay, that's okay. It'll be up. I'm going to post it on the website once it gets approved by the Board of Selectmen. So if you need to see it, you can see it on the website, the town hall website, the town hall Facebook page, and it will be posted on the boards inside and outside the town hall.
Okay. Any further discussion? Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Josh Hanford, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the FY23 water rate of $9.93 per 100 cubic feet and the FY23 sewer rate of $11.58 per 100 cubic feet.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
See a note here, Tony. Do you want me to read this?
I can explain. So what the change is from last year to this year. Last year's water rate was $9.92 per 100 cubic feet. So only a 1 cent increase per 100 cubic feet in this rate on the water side. Last year's sewer rate was actually higher originally. It was $14.08 per 100 cubic feet. And if you recall, right before we put out our last billing period, right before the last billing period, we had got the updated assessment cost from Lynn Water Sewer Treatment Plant, which was based on their finalized new O&M contract, which actually, because of the details of that new contract, it actually ended up being less of an assessment to the town than estimated at the beginning of the year. So we were able to reduce the sewer rate in the last quarter of last fiscal year to this amount, $11.58. So there's actually, from the last bill that residents received, there's no change in the sewer rate, and there's only a 1 cent increase on the water side. So that's a happy message to be able to deliver, that you're not going to see a significant increase in your rates at all this year.
That's
Can you
great, Tony.
explain- Can you explain that increase in the water rate?
That 1 cent,
Yes.
we're in a drought.
Just so, Mr. Chairman, just so voters understand, we charge per 100 cubic feet. I believe 100 cubic feet is about 750 gallons. So give people an idea of how much that is. So it's $9.93 per 750 gallons of water.
Thank you. Okay, motion made and seconded, discussion had, roll call vote.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye. Okay, where are we? I moved that the
It's
board.
first. We have
Go
some event requests, Mr. Chairman.
Pardon?
We have some event requests, I think.
Yes,
Okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following event request. Nahant Youth Fall Soccer on Saturdays starting September 10th, 2022 through October 29th, 2022 from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Flash Road. And Nahant Swim Annual Fall Beach Cleanup Day on September 18th, 2022 starting at 11 a.m. at Short Beach and Doggy Beach.
Seconded.
motion made and seconded, discussion,
Sounds like fun.
pardon? We good? Roll call vote,
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye. Okay, we're moving on to the ongoing business section and the town clerk open meeting law update. Diane still with us?
Do you want to discuss this?
I am.
You're on.
I am not prepared for this. I was doing.
Diane, this is just, this is, you are prepared for this.
I am,
This is
okay.
just a public announcement that the legislation passed that extended the remote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was only doing elections. Sorry. So yes, on June 22nd, 2022, the legislators signed into law that they were extending the open meeting laws of having remote meetings as well as hybrid meetings, remote meetings via Zoom or in-person meetings until March 31st, 2023.
Thank you.
So we can continue to conduct meetings, and all of our committees can continue to conduct meetings via Zoom. Or, as always, they're allowed to do meetings in person, or they can do a hybrid version of that. The town hall only really has the capability to do a hybrid version in the 2 conference rooms downstairs. And I know short-term rental committee is taking advantage of that. I think the planning board has taken advantage of that a couple times. So that's available to us until March of next year.
Yes. At which time, we're not sure, but they're working towards doing all meetings hybrid. And you should know that when you do with open meeting law, it's required that if you do a hybrid meeting, that you must let any and all people that want to attend in person to do so.
Thank you.
So sorry about that.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
That's okay. Moving right along, do we need a vote on this, Tony, to approve the American Rescue Plan spending?
Yes.
Right, let me find that.
Let's see, there's a separate,
You have it, Josh?
it was emailed to us. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find it.
I'm looking for it myself.
Sorry. Stuff open.
Sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
I can read it. Allison had wrote it. I move to approve all ARPA spending to date as of today, July 29th, 2022.
So move.
Yeah, seconded.
Discussion?
So we did provide some background to the American Rescue Plan Act. The town, as a recap, the total revenue to the town of Nahant is $1,050,060. The last time we voted on this, we had spent, it was expenditures up to February 8th. And at that time, we had spent $320,026.95. Since then, we've spent an additional $37,579. A lot of it is payroll, so related to the health nurses, and we're still actively, COVID costs are still coming in. There are still COVID cases. We've kind of lingered around like single-digit case numbers every 2 weeks, but there's still a cost to our health nurses doing that tracing. And we also spent funds on the July 9th event out of this account. So that went to the Appleton for the tent and the fencing, the music, those types of things. So as of as of 7/20/22, as of today, the total spent is $357,605.95.
So as you said, Tony, roughly 90% of that was incurred before February. We went through those numbers back then. And the majority of those dollars were payroll. And so since February, it's been, we say 37,000 or so. A lot of that was the July 9th celebration at the wharf. Yeah.
It's an eligible expense. The every community is allowed to claim $10 million of their ARPA funds, up to $10 million as a revenue loss. And then it basically is turned into free cash. You can almost spend it for, any government related activities, and certainly community events, things that are bringing people back together is one of those eligible expenses. And then of course, payroll related to public health is definitely one as well. So yeah, we really haven't spent much since the last time we voted, except for payroll and this recent event. So the overall balance, which includes revenue that we have not received yet, but we've been allocated, we still have $692,454.05. We do plan to spend a significant amount of that towards the balance of the cost of the new fire truck that we approved at town meeting this past May. So some of it is planned for. We have a planned use for a significant amount of that balance, but we don't know how long we're going to be living with the public health costs of COVID. So we're being cautious about how we spend.
Tony, there was an article in the item today, Swampscott was going through auditing what they were spending per person for, I think it was just the police department, but it was kind of a who, what, when, and where, and I presumed they used a formula on how they pay. I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying, do we have a formula that we calculate the ARPA monies?
That article was in regards to premium pay for their police officers. We have not yet approved anything related to premium pay. I don't know if they used a formula or a flat rate and how they, how that was decided upon. Certainly Swampscott got a lot more money than we did. But I'll tell you, I hope to connect with each one of you soon about premium pay for the employees that worked through the COVID pandemic. And I do have an idea of how I would allocate that equitably, and ensure that the town is still, prepared for the continued expenses of COVID. So not ready for it yet, but we'll get to it.
Great, thanks. Okay, moving right along. Any comments on ongoing business? Anybody?
Well, we still have to vote on the ARPA spending, right?
Yep. Yes, we were in discussion.
Hey, one thing I had, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but with everything that's going on out there, do we have an opportunity to sit with the school and go through some of the safety measures that they're taking here at the Johnson?
Before we get to, before I answer that question, Gene, the ARPA spending, we were in a discussion. It was motioned and seconded. So if you could just do a roll call vote on that first.
Would help, huh? Okay, roll call vote.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye. Sorry about that. Hiccup.
No problem. Yeah, I'm in constant communication with our superintendent, especially, and he is in constant communication with our chief of police. The school committee is informed. They have it at the top of their list, and they are constantly communicating and training and putting plan. They have plans together. If you'd like to speak with the superintendent or the chair, I would think that, a courtesy connection to the chair of the school committee would be the right first step. And, I think it would make more sense to do that, not in a public setting, for obvious reasons. having an open discussion about the, specific details, wouldn't be appropriate, but I can tell you that it is, at the top of their priority list. They're constantly discussing it.
I'm sure it is, and maybe what I did was I probably should have taken this to you and then you to the superintendent, and we could talk about it in a non-public setting. It's just something I, picked up on in a couple of news articles from different school communities and how they're addressing it. So I just thought it wouldn't hurt to bring it up, but we can take that direction.
Yeah.
Okay, preserving East Point. Josh, anything that you,
I don't have anything new to report, except that right now, starting at 7 o'clock this evening, the Conservation Commission has a meeting in Northeastern, is presenting presenting their new notice of intent for the seawater intake. So I know that's of importance to a lot of community members. So that is ongoing right now. I believe that's an in-person meeting at the town hall. So anybody that's interested in hearing that could attend in person at town hall. That's all I have.
thank you. Tony? Town
Right.
Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first on my list is July 9th fireworks recap. I want to expand a little bit on that. July 3rd, Horribles Parade, which a lot of help came through Orabilis to get that conducted. On July 4th, Shayna Greaves, or actually Shayna January, and John Walton, organizing the youth races and the road race. There's so many volunteers. All three of those events are like primarily conducted by volunteers. There's such positive community building traditional events. And I'm just so happy and proud of them for stepping up and making sure that those continue on. The Horribles Parade hasn't happened since pre-COVID, so that was the first time having that since then. So, a round of applause to them. From me, a big thank you for all the work that they did and time they put into that. And for July 9th, the fireworks, a huge shout out to Jen McCarthy, who did a tremendous job fundraising and organizing. A really, really good job, spectacular show. Again, unfortunately, we weren't able to get fireworks for the 4th of July. So, we made lemonade out of that issue and had it on Saturday the 9th instead. And it was a great event. We had at the wharf, we had music and food. And I really want to thank the Naha Police Department, the Fire Department, the Department of Public Works, Emergency Management. A lot of work went into preparing a safe environment for the public to gather, not knowing how many people we were going to get. Our first fireworks show since the pre-COVID 4th of July celebrations, and really being the only community with fireworks on that Saturday night. We weren't sure how many people were going to come into town, and we got to make sure that we have a safe environment for anybody that comes and enjoys that show or in that event. So a ton of work and hours went into staging that and putting together an event action plan, and our team did an amazing job. We have extremely talented, and the harbor master as well. We have extremely talented people here in Nahant. So want to thank them a lot for all that for the work that they did. And I hope everybody enjoyed the event. It seemed that night when I was there with my kids, it seemed like there was a lot of people there, you know, enjoying the music and the smell of, you know, sausages in the air and ice cream. And it was perfect weather. It was a great event, and hope everybody was able to attend, and look forward to repeating it or improving it in the future.
It was excellent.
Um,
Outstanding job.
And in your opening comments, you mentioned the Naha Farmers Market. This past weekend was the first farmers market of the summer. It was very well attended. We had about 15 vendors. A ton of people came through. All the vendors mentioned what a great, you know, showing it was as far as residents who came through. And again, that, you know, goes to Kristen Taylor and we have a few interns working for us here in the town hall, but they help Kristen out, but primarily Kristen, you know, put a lot of time and effort into making sure that those farmers markets are organized and put together. And because of her work, it was another successful event. So we look forward to doing more of those August 20th, September 17th, and then potentially a final fall festival in October. Sewer project update. We are somewhat, you know, behind schedule on what we estimated to, when we estimated to be completed with the project. A lot of that is due to unforeseen challenges, and DCR, who controls the Linway, you know, really forcing us into night operations, nighttime work, which has slowed us down. But we are very close to finishing the sleeve portion of the job. Actually, tonight, myself and the three of you will be watching one of the last pulls through our old sewer pipe of the new sewer pipe. I think Dan wanted me to mention, you know, that since we will have a quorum there will be no deliberations occurring at tonight's view of the, you know, one of the last pulls of the new pipe. After, you know, there's tonight's pull, and then there's one more, and then in the next step is for them to do to construct all the manholes, which will sit in all the open pits along the Linway, set up air release valves, and then they will pressure test the new pipe. And once it gets through that process, it'll be commissioned, and then hopefully that is in August, and then the old bypass will be removed. So right now we're targeting August for our substantial completion date. MBTA Better Bus Project. I just wanted to give an update on that too. Since the last time we met, I spent time with Representative Capano's office and Senator Crichton's office talking with the MBTA about, you know, the Better Bus Project and the confusion that the website, you know, is really putting out there to residents. They understood, you know, where the confusion was coming from, and they're going to try to update their website to make it less confusing. However, they did tell us that the 439 bus is likely to, you know, continue running during the same commute time as it currently does. However, unrelated to the Better Bus Project, on a quarterly basis, MBTA does review their ridership and potential changes and updates. So that it's on a quarterly basis, there's always a review process and things could change. So they did say that they urge folks to express any concerns or comments into their comment page on their website. So we'll put that on. We'll put that information on our webpage, on our website as well, so that people know where to go to submit their comments. You know, suggesting that they leave the schedule the way it is.
Okay. Any further discussion? Thank you, Tony. Further discussion? Mark, do you want to adjourn to executive session?
Sure.
But we still have citizens forum too.
Yeah.
Oh. We're having a problem here tonight. Citizens forum, do we have some interested residents?
If you're interested in speaking, just unmute yourself, announce your name and address.
Hi, Tony. This is Cora Long here, 263 Nahant Road. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you just give us a brief update on the pickleball courts?
Yep. George, 1 second, George. Cora unmuted first. Just hold on a sec, George.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Cora. Will you say that again? I'm sorry.
Can you just give us an update on the pickleball courts, the temporary, if there's anything that's put into play for the temporary ones or started on the permanent ones?
Well, I met with you and Sandy not that long ago, and we discussed potential temporary locations, one of which being indoor space at the school. So I believe I shared the superintendent or principal's contact information with Sandy. If I didn't, I will. They should connect. I already gave Tony Parentazzi, the superintendent at the school, a heads up that you guys would be reaching out to potentially rent space, indoor space, in the gym, in the gymnasium there. And I've talked to Zach about connecting with the architect who did the Flash Road basketball and tennis courts. He's due to come back to town to do a last, a final, like, what's it called? Like a button-up sheet, punch list type activity down there. Just make sure everything is good and sign off on releasing finalizing the contract with them. And when he does that, we're going to speak with him about, future permanent plans.
Okay, so the temporary Bailey's Hill is not going on. I believe we talked about after the fireworks on July 9th, Zach was going to sweep the Bailey's Hill area and find one of the spaces that are hot topped over there and the best suited that could be temporary lined for a 10 court. Is that still in the go, or are we just gonna wait for the permit?
I talked to Zach about it before the 9th of July, and asked him to, as soon as possible after the 9th to clean up the space. That's kind of typical anyways, but I did tell him about, how we talked about a potential temporary court in that area. But I haven't followed up with them. I'm not really sure if they've sent the sweeper through there yet. And obviously, you and I and Sandy haven't met on it since we spoke last. But I've seen activity of pickleball use down at the tennis courts at Flash Road. So plus Bass Point and Carey Street, it seems like we're in pretty good shape. But if you're saying, are you advocating that it's more urgent?
The Carey Street, you have to be a member. I don't know who plays down there. Bass Point, you can't play unless you're playing with one of the residents that have to be present. Flash Road, I have played, but I played there because I bought all this temporary equipment that you could put down. And, other people can't play unless I'm there with the staff. Unless there's a facility put there, some sort of a storage unit. I have no problem leaving my equipment there so they could use it on Flash Road. I don't have a problem with that, but that's what we're doing right now. We don't really have a place to play. It's only when other people are available at the Carey Street, which is not very often. Bass Point, maybe on the weekends. So yeah, we still don't have a place to play.
Cora, I ran into a gentleman down on Flash Road, and he was telling me that he had been playing pickleball by dropping or lowering the nets. And he said that he was interested in lining it with a temporary line that the dimensions would fit. I don't know enough about it to corroborate that, but and I don't know if we can allow you to take and put temporary lines in, but that's what he was saying.
Right, and that's what most people do. It's an exterior painter's tape, which does not leave residue on the courts. And it's
Did say that.
the best and easiest solution. That's what we use at Bass Point. The same tape has been down there for 12 months. We retaped it once, but again, I don't know, that's up to the approval of the town to allow us to do that. But that's definitely a solution, and a fast and easy one.
All right,
Tony?
well, we'll keep the conversation going.
Okay, maybe I'll touch base with you and send you an email tomorrow with Sandy, Tony, and we will stay on it, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, George.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, good evening, George Mahoman, 64 Lawrence Road, Little Nahant. Couple of questions, Tony, about the the playground over in Little Nahant, updates. And I've also noticed that the Flash Road playground and the playground behind the library, all the equipment seems to be in a designated spot. In other words, I don't know if you're not lined off, but blocked off. And the surface is some kind of, I don't know if it's cork or if it's mulch, but down a little the hard playground, it seems like all the stuff is all over the place and there's no defined lines. There's grass, there's weeds. I'm concerned about the children with ticks and so on and so forth. So when they do get the equipment to put down there, are we going to do the same thing that's been done over in Flash Road and behind the
Yes.
library, as far as putting some kind of surface down so that children aren't going to be exposed to, the grass where the ticks,
Yep.
go. I know a lot of dog owners over here in Little Nahant, and a lot of them are saying that it's been very, very, a very ticky season, for lack of a better word. So if you could just update me and whoever else is listening about what's going on down there in Little Nahant.
Yes. I need to schedule another neighborhood meeting with the folks at Little Nahant. We were able to secure additional funding for the Little Nahant playground through CPC at town meeting.
Awesome.
And that just, July 1st, it became eligible to be used. And so we have $60,000 to put into the playground down there now.
Oh, fantastic.
So I've already spoken with the playground contractor. He's given me some ideas. I need to follow up with him and figure out when he can attend a neighborhood meeting by Zoom so that we can decide what equipment we want to purchase with that 60,000 and get the order in. The surface we have funding for the same wood chip material that's at the other playgrounds. The reason we haven't put it down yet is because when we put new equipment in, it's like you want to put the surface in after that. And because we haven't, we're trying to get the Short Beach Dune project that's funded with FEMA money completed this fall. So I really want to get that done before we put any surface material down, because God forbid we have a bad storm and the dune is breached, you know, any material we put down is just going to get washed away.
Sure,
So-
makes sense.
So the idea, the next step is to do a community meeting, get the equipment ordered. And then the next step for the town is really to, you know, we're going to continue pushing to get the Short Beach Dune project in the Little Naha area completed this fall. And then hopefully we're installing the equipment as soon as it arrives. And then the last touch will be putting down that surface material.
That's a good answer. Thank you very much. And one more question too. I had mentioned once before about putting some kind of bubbler or water fountain down there for the people or the children. And also, when the Dune project is completed, the access to Short Beach, that the couple of the owners down there, it seems like have taken it upon themselves, which is a great thing to make access down to Short Beach relative where the old one used to be. Is there any way we can get some kind of foot washing station down there like they have at all the other entrances to Short Beach along the Hart Road?
I believe isn't there an old water service in that area?
Well, there used to be a bubble. There used to be a bubbler down there when I was a youngster and was down there playing and so on and so forth. So I have to say probably there is.
So
I don't
that's a
know
good
for sure.
start. So that's a good start. I think we could let's incorporate it into the discussion of the playground upgrades and the neighborhood meeting.
Great. Thank you
'Cause
very much, Tony.
It would fit right in with all that other work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, George. You out there, Tony?
I don't see if there's anyone else wants to unmute. Let me check the chat. Oh, Cora, I'm just seeing your chat now, asking the same question. She must have put that in the chat before she spoke, but nothing else in the chat.
Okay, Mark, you want
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to adjourn to executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Paragraph 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, Northeastern University Marine Science Center, 430 Nahant Road, Nahant. If the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and we will not return to open session.
seconded?
Does
Thank you,
the
Pete.
chair declare that an open meeting would be detrimental?
Yes.
So motion has been seconded.
Roll call vote.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Gene Canty, aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.